Good morning all of you. So the chapter which was going on Silk Road, that we are again going to start where we have left. Fine. As I already told you people that the chapter is a travelogue written by our writer. Just a minute. So the chapter is a travelogue and the whole journey of the writer to Kailash Mount, actually Mount Kailash, is described in the chapter. What kind of adverse situation they were facing on the way, that is described. So many things we have already learnt about the chapter, that sometimes they were facing rocky mountains, sometimes they were to pass from green areas, and now they were on snowy area. When they were sliding up, when they were rising up, their car was rising up on the snowy mountain. So what kind of situations they were facing? There were there were two more people with the writer. That was first of his guide, that was named Satin, and the second, who was it? It was his friend. Fine. So now we are coming, as we have left, the snow did not look too deep. This paragraph we have described yesterday. Now we are coming directly to this paragraph. 10 minutes later, we stopped at another blockage. Not good, sir, Satin announced as he jumped out again to survey the scene. This time he decided to try and drive round the snow. Again, see, so many obstacles were coming. Obstacles is called? What is the meaning of obstacles?
बाधाएं.
Yes. So many obstacles were coming. They were facing problem to cross them up. Fine. So right now also they are saying 10 minutes later, when they hardly they have just came across of that white color mountain, the mountain that was covered with snow. Just then after 10 minutes there was another blockage, means they found another problem on their way. Not good, sir, Satin announced as he jumped out again to survey the scene. Again Satin came out of the car and he was just surveying. Surveying means he was looking out for the problem. This time he decided to try. This time what he decided, that he should not go on the right way. He should not go on the you can say in front, the way it was in front of them. He decided to take a drive round the snow, means he will take another route to where he can go and he can take a round from the snow. He did not want to take that snowy part, actually snowy path. Fine. The slope was steep and studded with major rocks, but somehow Satin negotiated them, his four-wheel drive vehicle lurching from one obstacle to the next. In so doing, he cut off one of the hairpin bends, regaining the trail further up where the snow had not drifted. The slope was steep. So many times I told you what is the difference between how the steep rocks are called. The rocks, the mountains that are having directly rise up, you can say slope, means एकदम से तीखे और सीधे ढलान वाले जो mountains होते हैं, that are called steep. Fine. And the slope where they were rising up now, where they were climbing up now in their car, it was steep. मतलब एक खड़ी ढाल वाला mountain था ये, and studded with major rocks, and it was having so many rocks in that, and they were finding difficulty to cross that over. But somehow Satin negotiated them. But somehow means Satin actually negotiated means managed to cross them. His four-wheel drive vehicle lurching from one obstacle to the another, means you may have noticed, if you have gone any time to the mountain areas, then when our vehicle is actually rising up, it started lurching. Lurching means swaying. It हिलना शुरू कर देता है, यूं समझ लीजिए. And same problem was going on with Saturn also. When he was trying to rise up, his vehicle, his car was lurching, means हिलते हुए चल रही थी एक तरह से. One obstacle to the next, means once they were facing obstacle, after that again and again, means again and again they were facing so many obstacles, they were facing so many problems on their way. In so doing, he cut off one of the hairpin bands. Hairpin bands means एक U shape का जो band आ जाता है, U shape का band, that is called hairpin bands. When we are going on the one side of that band, we not at all able to see the another side of that band, and it is really very dangerous that our vehicle can get stuck from the another vehicle also, that on that kind of bands. Fine. So hairpin band एक बीच में आ गया था, regaining the trail further up where the snow had not drifted. Regaining the trail. After crossing that hairpin band, they regained the trail. Trail is called path. They just came back on the path where the snow had not drifted, where they could not find any snow. Now there was some rough areas. I checked my watch again as we continued to climb in the bright sunshine. We crept past 5,400 meters and my head began to throb horribly. I took gulps from my water bottle, which is supposed to help a rapid ascent. So what he is saying, as they were going up and up, again, some few minutes ago, he checked the height from his wristwatch. It was 5210 approximately. Now they have just rise more, and again he checked his wristwatch and he checked that, he found that they were at the height of 5,400 meters from the sea level. They have just went upside and my head began to throb horribly. Throb horribly means his head was just, you can say he got headache or just vibrating because of the weather there. Fine. I took gulps from my water bottle. Gulp होता है गटकना या निगल जाना किसी चीज को. So he was just drinking some water from his water bottle, what is supposed to help a rapid ascent. And it was a rapid ascent means it was a just rapid relief for me. Means just then I got a relief from my headache. He wanted to say. We finally reached the top of pass at 5,515 meters. It was marked by a large cairn of rocks festooned with 5 white silk scarves and red prayer flags. We all took a turn round the cairn in a clockwise direction as is the tradition, and Satan checked the tires of his vehicle. He stopped at the petrol tank and partially unscrewed the top, which emitted a loud hiss. The lower atmospheric pressure was allowing the fuel to expand. It sounded dangerous to him. Maybe, sir, Satan laughed, but no smoking. The writer is saying, finally we reached the top of the pass at 5,515, means 5,515 meters high. Pass, the top of the pass. Pass क्या होता है? What is pass? What is a pass? The lower land between two mountains. दो mountains के बीच में जो lower land होती है, that is used to cross those mountains. That is called pass. Now they were pass भी इतना नीचा नहीं होता है, क्योंकि आप mountain area में जा रहे हैं, तो sea level से तो high होगा वो भी. Fine. So he was saying that it was marked by a large cairn of rocks. Cairn of rocks means there was a pile or heap of rocks. Pile means ढेर लगा था वहाँ पे rocks का. Actually they have just made it a landmark. Landmark बना दिया था उन्होंने. They have just gathered, means some pile of rocks were gathered there. उनको इकट्ठा करके रखा गया था वहाँ पे. Festooned with white silk scarves. and festoon होता है decorate करना. That part, that area was decorated with white silk scarves and red prayer flags. And some prayer flags were also kept there, or they were also festooned there. You may have seen, whenever we go to a temple, sometimes we just put a thread of our prayer. हम बांधते हैं ना वहाँ पे एक मन्नत का धागा जो बांधा जाता है. Do you know about that? हाँ जी.
यस मैम.
बहुत सारे टेम्पल्स में ऐसा होता है कि हम एक वहाँ पे थ्रेड जैसा कुछ बांध कर आते हैं. तो यहाँ
Yes,
पर भी
ma'am.
ऐसा चल रहा था कि लोगों ने बहुत सारे रैग्ड प्रेयर फ्लैग्स लगे हुए थे. दे हैव पुट देयर मींस विश जो उन्होंने मांगी थी उसकी वजह से some prayer flags they have put there. We all took a turn around the care. The care means that pile of the rocks. They took a round of that because it was a in clockwise direction. Clockwise or anti-clockwise, you know, I think. As is the tradition, because it was a ritual, it was a tradition. एक रीति रिवाज था ये उनका कि हाँ उनको उसका राउंड लेना पड़ेगा. The setting checked the tires of his vehicle. We both were doing. The writer with his friend was doing, and he was just taking a round of that pile of rocks. Satin was at the same time. Satin was checking the tires of his vehicle. He was checking the tire of his car. He stopped at the petrol tank. He stopped at the petrol tank and partially unscrewed the top. He partially means थोड़ा सा उसने unscrew कर दिया अपने टॉप को, पेट्रोल टैंक के टॉप को. पेट्रोल टैंक का जो लिड होता है उसको थोड़ा सा unscrew किया, थोड़ा सा खोला सिर्फ उसने, which emitted a loud hiss. As he just loosened it down, a loud hiss came out of that petrol tank. Why? The lower atmospheric pressure was allowing the fuel to expand, because the fuel which was already stored in the petrol tank, that was having a warmth inside, but now when he opened it was getting cold. और इसकी वजह से वहां पर एक loud hiss, मतलब जो atmospheric pressure की वजह से it get a loud hiss. It sounded dangerous to me, and I thought that it is dangerous. Maybe Sir Satin laughed, but no smoking. And Satin was making a joke here. He was just keeping a joke here, but no smoking. That car is not doing smoking right now. एक सेकंड रुकिए.
Anshul,
What happened? So my headache soon cleared as we carried down the other side of the pass. It was 2 o'clock by the time we stopped for lunch. We ate hot noodles inside a long canvas tent, part of a work camp erected beside a dry salt lake. The plateau is pock-marked with salt flats as brackish lakes, vestiges of the Tethys Ocean, which bordered Tibet before the great continental collision that lifted it skyward. You should be careful about these words. What is the what these sentences are describing actually? My headache soon cleared as we careered down the other side of the pass. Now, as they reached the height of the pass, now they were coming down of that pass, and they were careered down means they were on the declining slope of the pass. It was 2 o'clock by the time. Till then it was 2 o'clock means it was their lunch time, and we stopped for lunch. They stopped their car for taking lunch. We ate hot noodles inside a long canvas. Means there was a long canvas tent. There was a tent, and they took hot noodles inside that, part of a work camp erected beside a dry salt lake. Actually, there was a dry salt lake beside that camp where they were taking their lunch. Dry salt lake क्या होता है? Means earlier it was a salt lake. Earlier it was a salt lake, but nowadays it was dried up. Okay. The plateau is pockmarked. What is pockmark? Pockmark होता है डॉट के जो marks होते हैं, that is called pockmarks. Okay. With salt flats. Salt flats means little bit water, means at each and every area, at some distance they were having salt lakes, small lakes they were having, and these lakes were filled with salty water. And brackish lake, brackish भी वही है कि आपकी जो छोटी छोटी एक तरह से अलग अलग एरिया में बिखरी पड़ी थी. Fine. Vestiges of the Tethys Ocean, which bordered Tibet before the Great Continental Collision. Actually, how these lakes were made? ये lakes कैसे बन गई थी? That is described in these lines. The plateau क्या बता रहे हैं ये? Earlier, it is believed, it is proved in geography that earlier the land was divided into ये जो एरिया है, माउंटेन एरिया जो हमारा हिमाचल वाला एरिया है, दैट वाज एक्चुअली डिवाइडेड इनटू गोंडवाना लैंड एंड अंगारा लैंड. फाइन. और बिकॉज ऑफ द अर्थ की जो टेक्टोनिक प्लेट्स होती है, उनमें जो चेंजेस होते रहते हैं, उसकी वजह से जो ये टेथिस सागर था, टेथिस सी था, ये डिफरेंट कोलाइजन की वजह से जो चेंजेस होते रहे अंडर द अर्थ, बिकॉज ऑफ दैट कोलाइजन दैट लिफ्टेड इट स्काईवर्ड. ये जो टेथिस सी था, ये स्काईवर्ड मीन्स ऊपर उठ गया, मीन्स लेटर ऑन, नॉट अर्लियर. देन this one was a hive of activity. Men with pickaxes and shovels trudging back and forth in their long sheepskin coats and salt encrusted boots. All wore sunglasses against the glare as a steady stream of blue trucks emerged from the blinding white lake laden with the piles of salt. तो ये जो when the Tethys सागर came upwards, तो जो पानी था उसके अंदर, टेथिस सी था, देखिए, when it is coming upward because of the tectonic plates of because of the, you can say the things which were going inside, और जो changes हो रहे थे under the earth, उसकी वजह से जब ये ऊपर आया तो जो salt था, salty water जो था टेथिस सी के अंदर, वो जगह जगह डिफरेंट प्लेसेस पर इट वाज स्कैटर्ड. फाइन. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस एक्टिविटी स्मॉल लेक्स वर scattered, small lakes were made by that kind of activity of the earth, and these were pockmarked. Pockmarked means डॉट की तरह बिखरी हुई थी हर जगह पर. Then this one was a hive of activity. When they were sitting in that tent and when they were taking their lunch, what they have actually noticed, that some of the people who were present there, who were living in that area, they were doing an activity. What activity? Men with pickaxes and shovels. They were having some tools, fine, with them, and trudging back and forth in their long sheep coats. They were just collecting the snow which make a heap there. They were picking up that snow and they were throwing it somewhere else. And they were wearing long sheepskin coat because it was a hilly area, it was a mountain area, it was a snowy area. That's why they were having, it was too cold. They were wearing sheepskin coat and salt encrusted boots. Means the boots which are used, which are worn in hilly areas, that kind of boots they were wearing. All wore sunglasses against the glare as a steady stream of the blue trucks emerged from the blindingly white lake laden with piles of salt. All of them, the people who were working there, The people who were doing the work of collecting the snow and throwing the snow in another area, they all were wearing sheepskin coat, they all were wearing salt encrusted boots, they all were wearing sunglasses. Why they were wearing sunglasses? Because the sun was shining that time and it was a snowy area, snowy mountain. So when the sunshine was there, the rays of sun comes on the snow, that it gives a sparkle in our eyes. Fine. So we are not able to see it clearly even. That's why they were wearing sunglasses. And emerged from the blindingly white means it was making them at you can say in a way that the sparkle was making them blind. That's why they were wearing sunglasses. By late afternoon, we will just complete this paragraph only. By late afternoon, we had reached the small town of Hor, back on the main east-west highway that followed the old trade route from Lhasa to Kashmir. Daniel, who was returning to Lhasa, found a ride in a truck, so Setin and I bade him farewell outside of a tire repair shop. We had suffered 2 punctures in quick succession on the drive down from the Salt Lake, and Setin was eager to have them fixed since they left him with no spares. Besides, the second tire we had changed had been replaced by one that was as smooth as my bald head. What the writer is saying, by late afternoon means after taking lunch they started their journey again, and by late afternoon means it was going to come evening, and we had reached the small town of Hor. Finally they reached a town, and the name of that town was Hor. Hor नाम की एक जगह है, एक town है. They reached there. Back on the main east-west highway, where it is, it was the main road. means जो main Silk Road था, that Hor town was on that main Silk Road highway par, that followed the old trade route from Lhasa to Kashmir. That old Silk Road that was going from Lhasa to Kashmir. Lhasa is the name of Tibet's capital actually. Fine. Daniel. Who is Daniel now? Yes. Daniel was the author's friend, which is described in the chapter again and again. Daniel, who was returning to Lhasa. Daniel wanted to return to Lhasa now. He did not want to carry on his journey with them. So he found a truck ride. Means he got a truck in that area and he started his journey back to his home. Setin and I bade him farewell. We bade him a farewell means हमने उसको farewell किया, उसको विदा किया outside a tire repair shop. We were getting a repair of our car's tire. We had suffered 2 punctures in quick succession on the drive down from the Salt Lake, and Setin was eager to have them fixed since they left him with no spares. What they are saying, we had suffered 2 punctures. When they were coming down now, it is already told that they have reached the height of that pass. Now they were slowing down. अब वो वापस नीचे आ रहे थे. And when they started from Salt Lake से लेकर यहाँ तक आने में ही उनकी कार में 2 पंक्चर हो चुके थे. And Setin was eager to have them fixed. Setin wanted that they should get repaired these punctures. Why he was so much eager? क्यों वो eager था? क्यों वो जल्दी से जल्दी इनको mend कराना चाहता था? Because since they left him with no spare tire they were having now. Why? Because the second tire he had changed had been replaced by one that was as smooth as my bald head. Means once they got 1 puncture, then they changed that tire. When they got second puncture, the spare tire was as smooth as my bald head. The writer was saying bald क्या होता है? गंजा means दूसरा वाला जो टायर हमने चेंज किया ना, इट वॉज एज स्मूथ, बहुत ही स्मूथ था, बहुत चिकना हो चुका था, दैट वॉज नॉट गुड टू यूज. बट because they were not having any chance, they were not having any option, so they had to put that tire only. Fine. So this was all about our today's class. The time is also over, so we will go for
Okay,
the
ma'am.
remaining chapter tomorrow. Fine.
Okay, ma'am.
Bye bye.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, dear.